tried to speak.
Hello, is it any better now?
Yeah, it's very clear, a little weak maybe, but
How
very
about,
clear.
is that better?
Yeah, that's good enough. And Ines, we can hear you breathing in the mic, so maybe you should put the mic a little bit on the side as opposed to just in front.
Yeah, can you hear me now? Well,
Yeah, that's good.
great. So I give it like yes. Thank you. So it's 4 already, but we can wait a couple of minutes to see if more people join.
Well, I think you can get started through the note well and everything. I don't expect newcomers to join, and so
Okay.
old timers can skip the note well.
Yes. Okay. We continue. We start. Welcome to the role interim meeting. Please note that this session is recorded. Note as well that this meeting is aligned with the Note Well IETF. Please read carefully. We will not read it here. And for the remote participation, please use the notes. The link is in the chat. Yes. And volunteer for minute takers. Thank you. Okay. This is the draft agenda. So we are going to have first an introduction. Then we are going to discuss about the status of RNFD. Then the status of NSA extension. Then the status for MOPEX, followed by the status of enrollment priority. And at the end, we would like to discuss if we should have a meeting at the next ITF and if we should have regular interim meetings to advance in the work. And then a couple of minutes for open floor. So we have suggestions for this agenda? Okay, or comments? Okay, thank you. So about the draft status, we have submitted to the ISG our DB REPL. We have submitted our projection, but recently we got a review from Susan Harris. Thank you very much, Susan. And Pascal is addressing those issues. The version 33 addressed the first part of the issues, and one ticket as well was created in GitHub for that review. Then NSA extension, some issues addressed. I know there's still one issue that we will discuss later. And for enrollment priority, they are work in progress. We are addressing open issues. I think will be a new version next Monday. For MOPEX, there was a new version and recently, and some comments from Alvaro that Raul is addressing. And about the RNFP, we got a new version, and I think need some feedback from Michael to be included, and that's what we will discuss today. For capabilities and storing root AG need for attention. We can discuss about these topics in the next interim meetings as well. Then from the milestones, we have one milestone done, that is the DAO projection. But from the other ones, we need a new date. So we want to ask your opinion about these new dates. Like, for example, about source root multicast for REPL to the ISG. We plan like November 24. Then for the YAG model, for MPL, well, we don't know if someone wants to continue this work. We can raise again the call comments to the mailing list and decide in November if we drop or we continue with this work item. Then fast border route crash detection in REPL. No, I think that we don't drop this one. This is like RFD. So yeah.
My mistake.
Yeah, my mistake. Sorry. No, this one should be yeah, change.
Yeah, we
but maybe
replaced the picture and we left the comments, but
yeah.
somehow the lines have been reordered. So just
Yeah.
ignore the drop for this one. Sorry
Yes.
about that. I hope
Yeah,
you didn't have a heart attack, Conrad, in the meantime.
yeah.
Didn't have
Yeah, sorry. So maybe we put March 24, that one. Then, yes, Conrad? You were wanting
No,
to
I'm
say?
fine with that. So
Okay, great, thank you. And then recharter or closed, maybe March 24, because if we need to take some items from the work items, we need to recharter. So let's see. And for the proposal of augment these flags, we think as well December 24 if someone want to take this further. And for the capabilities, we think June 24. For the mode of operations, we think February next year, 24. And for NSA enrollment, no, sorry, yeah, enrollment in Ripple Networks, January 24. So some comments on these dates. Do you have a new data suggestions? Okay, then after the meeting, we will proceed with the changes. Thank you. Okay, okay, for fast border road crash detection in Ripple, we have, well, a new version that basically the work is in progress. I understand from Conrad that the new feedback from Michael has to be integrated. Conrad, do you have some comments on this?
yes, so Michael promised some corrections and improvements, and I guess it's worth waiting for them. And then
So please don't wait anymore. I'm not going to get it done at this point. So those were edits that I thought English would help,
okay.
but I'm not going to get to it. So I'm sorry. Don't wait anymore.
Okay, then we can probably ask for the internal review.
Okay, great. Thank you, Michael and Conrad. Yes, so the next steps for this document will be, we would like to have 2 internal reviews before the working group last call. And at the same time, we will request the routine and security directories reviews that now is like suggested that every document before going to the submission to the ISG need the routine and security reviews. So that is a very good point. So we will proceed with that too. Then at the same time as the working group last call, we can proceed with the Shepherd write-up. And then if it's based on the result of the working group last call, we submit to the ISG. Some comment on suggestions on these next steps? Okay, thank you.
So, Michael, you said you wanted to do edits in terms of English proofreading. Did I get that right? I was trying to capture notes.
I had some edits months ago that some paragraphs that I found were really awkward, and I thought that I could provide some, changes to the text that made it easier to understand. But yeah, it just requires a presence of mind that I no longer have. That's all.
Okay, so you mean you didn't have any significant change to the technology that's in this document? Is that correct?
I don't think that I had any comments on the technology, unless in the process of rewriting, we discovered that I had a different understanding, but I don't think that's likely.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. I have a question for Conrad. Conrad, in the draft, to go from the state up to locally down, you go to the suspected down state.
Mhm.
And in that, you mark that you can use data plane and control plane.
Mhm.
And I would like to know if that applies as well to the other transitions or only from this up to this. Yes.
I think it can work also for the transition from so from the shortcut transition as well. Let me just check the draft. The figure actually, that's probably
Yes. And as well in your paper, as well the figure in your paper that you publish in the IEEE, include this in the transition figure state machine. So it will be nice maybe that you can put as well into the draft. And
what do you mean?
The picture, sorry, the picture of your paper when there is the transition of states includes the figure, includes data plane and control plane.
Okay.
Basically, initiated by control plane or data plane. That would be nice to include in the figure of
in the
the
figure. Wow,
draft.
that's really tricky because the figure is already. I think it's mentioned there in the text, but in the figure it's so dense
then,
that.
Okay.
Oh,
Well,
I think both can go, like from up to locally down or suspected down to locally down. They can be either via control plane or data plane, and the same is true for 4A and 4B. So that there is some symmetry, like 2A and 2B can go based on data plane and control plane, and the same for 4A and 4B.
And from locally down to globally down, you mean data plane? Sorry, control
No,
plane here, right?
From locally down to up, and from suspected down to up.
Yeah.
To globally
But
down, you can,
from locally down to
control plane only. Yes. So
yes. So if you can make as well this clarification when you use the transition from one state to other state, you can say, please, in this one, I suggest you use control plane, and in this one, data plane, control plane.
Okay.
Okay.
I will try to integrate this in the text then, because in the figure it's okay.
Yes, in the text is enough, but if you can, okay, great. Thank you very much. And then
I have another comment on that draft.
Yes.
I haven't taken the time to put it in writing. I should do it, but just mentioning in section 5.5 about activating and deactivating the protocol. The first sentence reads that it can be activated and deactivated once per DUDAG version, and there's no normative language in that sentence. And I put a note to myself to check whether that was somewhere normative in the same section or anywhere else in the document, because this seems to be an important information that can be only once per DUDAG version. So I should, maybe if you know your text very well, you can point right at where it is made normative, but
no, it's not made normative. Okay, so that's okay. That's important because I applied Ines's suggestion, but yeah, that may be important actually. So maybe this can should be replaced with something else then.
Well, there are two things in that sentence. One, the first thing is that it can be activated and deactivated, and the other thing is that if it is ever activated or deactivated, that should be only once.
Okay. So maybe that should be split. Yeah. Okay.
Something like that.
Okay. Oh, that's a good comment. Okay. So I will just write them down on the comments. Thanks.
Okay, great. Thank you very much, Dominique. Conrad, additional comments or suggestions?
I have one question regarding the next steps. I think, Michael, you are the shepherd on that one. How is it going?
The shepherd on this document, RF NFD? No, I'm not the shepherd on this, right?
in my records on January 3rd, you said you were doing Shepherd write-up on this. Am I wrong?
I haven't started, but I can do it. That's for sure.
Well, if you can't handle the bandwidth, which I kind of heard you saying,
I can write a
we
Shepherd write-up. A Shepherd write-up is not the same as a English review.
Okay, up to you. I don't want to force it.
Well,
upon
if you have
you,
someone
so-
else that wants to do it, by all means.
So, in the next 5 seconds, anybody volunteer to be the shepherd for that draft? Raise your hands. Strangely enough, I hear nobody. Well, Michael, if you can find time to do it, that would be appreciated. But if you know you're not going to be able to do it in the next, few weeks or 2 months, then let us know.
So I'm going to wait for the working group last call to post anything, right?
Yes.
I think you can do it at the same time. Yes.
I mean, I'll start beforehand, but there's no point until the end of the working group last call.
Right, because the write-up should describe how much review the document got in consensus, etc. So, okay, very good. I think we have a way forward.
Okay, great. Thank you, Michael and Dominic. Okay, additional comments or suggestions? Okay. Dominic?
Oh, yes. I said I would speak to this one. So, yeah, on when was that? On March or April, I think. March, I asked who among the authors was willing to work and answer the reviews, etc. And Remus stepped up and said, yes, I commit to work on it. And he did. So congratulations and thanks. Remus.
It's always a bit complicated to find time, but yeah, some motivation helps.
Yeah, I want to commend you for doing it. You said 3 weeks and you did it in 3 weeks. So that's very good. And thanks a lot also to Alvaro for doing the review and providing the comments and engaging in the discussion. So I understand the review was addressed, the tickets were closed, and then ticket 28 was reopened. Was it you, Remus, that reopened it, I think?
Actually, it's I think it's 25. So it's 25. Yeah, not 28.
Really?
It's the one that we discussed briefly with Pascal. We have a response. We'll basically follow the recommendation from RFC 6519. So there was a question because the way we phrased it in our, we basically wanted to copy the structure from RFC 6719. But since we are talking about another thing about the alternative parent, we didn't copy it exactly in the same way, and that left open a window for discussion, in which case it deviates from how it works for the preferred parents. So I think we resolved it. I haven't closed the issue, but basically we had one part that was mandatory and another part which was recommended, and they would clash. So it's basically a small issue. I can do it basically today. I think it will be fine.
Okay. Well, in the meantime, I opened GitHub, and I think the issue is it? Oh, I'm sorry.
I haven't closed it yet, but I will do it. Yeah.
Right. No, I mean the issue is number 28 in GitHub.
No, it's 25 actually.
Okay, so maybe we have a ticket and an issue that don't have the same numbers.
So let me put this in the notes. Give me a sec.
Hopefully we're speaking about the same thing.
Yeah, as far as I can tell. Okay, so why am
So I just put the issue, the link to the issue in GitHub in the note.
Yeah, give me 1 second because I try to connect and before I connected, and now it's 28. I think it's not this one. Okay, let me double check.
Okay. Anyway,
Yes, it is. No, it's correct. I'm sorry. I was looking. I think I had another window open. Yeah, that's fine.
Okay, the purpose was not to talk about the number anyway. It was to
Yeah.
talk about the contents. I thought, but I might be wrong, that your last question was about the first part of the sentence that's highlighted in the slide. A node should set the cost to max pass cost if something, I don't know what, right from the top of my head.
One basically.
Yeah, if the CA set does not match or something.
Yeah.
And so it should set the cost to max path cost. And I thought I understood your question was, well, in general, when we say should, we should explain what the consequences are for not complying with the should. And so as an example, for everybody's enlightenment, what is the kind of situation where you would deviate from that recommendation and not set the cost to max path cost? And I thought that was a question. And to that
So effective
question,
yeah,
Pascal responded, I'm okay with the must not, which I thought did not answer that question, that part of the question.
Yeah, so for me, I have thought about it, and to be honest, I haven't found a case where where you wouldn't do it. So if you fail the CA requirements, effectively the candidate neighbor shouldn't be chosen, right? It's a hard requirement. So I think maybe I'm not actually sure even why in the initial RFC, the 6719, they did this as a recommendation. As far as I remember, there's no justification for this. So for me, I think we can keep it as a must not in that sense.
You mean must?
Yes.
Must be set to max pass cost.
Because at least I don't know in which case it could be something else.
Right.
So leaving that open for implementation, if someone else is aware for a historical reason why this was not done as a requirement, but as a recommendation, I'm happy to learn. But at least me, I don't see any clear reason why. And
okay.
Maybe what I could guess is that for the Mr. Hoff, you don't have an alternative parent. So maybe they left this as a suggestion in the case where you don't really have any other parents and you'd like to still prefer a parent than having none. Maybe this is the closest thing I could imagine to avoid the case where you don't have any parents. But even that, I'm not sure if it's that reasonable. It depends.
Okay.
So for me, a constraint is a constraint, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Okay. Pascal, any comment on that? Since you answered on the issue within GitHub?
No, I don't.
That was 3 weeks ago. So
yeah, I remember the discussion, but so I missed the fact that there was this reference to the must or the recommend in the REPL spec, and yeah, I should revisit the text in REPL. But yes, I mean at some point, Musaris is correct. You need a parent, and you might need to reparent to somebody who's deeper, and then you've got the loop avoidance thing. But I'm not sure if that recommendation in the original text was that or not. So if somebody can drop me an email with just the text that was about that
Yeah,
we just discussed.
I'll send you one.
And then we'll discuss what this text means and why it was there. But right now, without any context, I cannot comment.
Okay.
Right.
I will
So just
send you the
While I'm speaking, Dominique, I was looking at your summary of what happened to the DAO projection. I will need you guys to come back to DAO projection before the end of this call, because I did answer the mail from Sue Arras mid-September, around September 13. And so the ball is really in our camp, not in mine.
Okay. Point
So
taken.
there is a long discussion, and I published 33, by the way.
Okay, that's it in the note. Just to come back to NSA extension, I think there are 2 points here. So just for everybody to be on the same page on that. One point is, why did ever Mr. Hoff write should, and what did the authors have in mind at that time? And that's just for general enlightenment. And the second thing is, what should we do in NSA extension? And I think we agree that in NSA extension, we will write must be set to max path cost, and the rest is, you know, for general consistency and history of recall.
So as we quite explicitly write in the draft itself, we tried not to deviate too much from Mr. Hoff, so that it's the text itself and the operation are as similar as possible. I think this is the rare exception where we can slightly deviate with the must, especially since we're talking about an alternative parent and not the preferred one. So we can be a bit more strict, let's say.
Mm-hmm. Sounds good.
Okay.
As chairs, we have asked for a review from Routing Directorate and Security Directorate, and well, that was summer vacation, I guess. We haven't gotten any answer. We pinged them again, I think, a few weeks ago. No answer yet, so we'll keep putting pressure. I think, Ines, you have the control. Can you go to the next slide, please? Thank you. So yeah, let's try to get those reviews, and then I'm the shepherd on this document, so I will update the write-up, and we'll issue another working group class call from, just so that everybody is clear about this. The document was returned to the working group, and so we'll do another working group class call that should be quick, especially based on the discussions we have right now. And then we submit. Any comments, question on that? Alvaro, go ahead.
Hey, Dominique, Alvaro Retana, Peachway. If you want to ask the routing director to assign this to me, I can take a look, since I did that original review before.
Oh, that would be fantastic. Yeah. Very good.
Thank you very much.
Kill two birds with one stone.
I'm sorry, what was that?
Kill two birds with one stone. We do two things at the same time.
Uh-huh. Oh, okay. Got it. Thank you. Any other comments?
Is there anything that I or Georgios can do to help things in addition?
I don't think so. I think we need reviews, but
Okay.
But then, yeah, I think we're in as a good shape as can be within the working group.
Okay, cool.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, Ines, do you want to carry on with MOPEX, maybe?
Yes, thank you, Dominique. MOPEX, we got the comments, is in progress. We got comments from Alvaro to answer to Raul feedback. There was created a ticket into GitHub to track this. I think Raul should reply to Alvaro, right? Raul, do you want to say something?
Absolutely. Thank you very much for the review. It's again, as usual, a great review. So we have progressed halfway through, but still there are some points in there which requires still some more proper understanding, and we have to go back through the draft. So all in all, maybe we can expect a response by by the end of next weekend. But yeah, we are halfway through. Thank you, Aurora, for the review as usual. It's great. Thank you. Yeah. So in terms of timelines, I think the timelines that were suggested earlier in the this thing, I feel is all completely okay. But yeah, earlier, I feel this should most likely cover most part of the review and updates. Uh, we already have Rabi and myself who have already discussed on the review comments, and we have split up the task items as to what we need to do to go to the next step. But yeah, expect a response maybe by the end of in 2 weeks' time maximum.
Okay, great. Thank you very much, Raul. So for next steps, as the same as the previous documents, we will request 2 internal review within the working group, and then at the same time the routing security directorate reviews, and then issue a working group last call, and then to publish the write-up, separate write-up, and based on the working group last call results, we submit to the ISG. Some comment or questions about these next steps? Okay, thank you. So for enrollment priority, we have these open issues in GitHub.
Ines?
Yes, sorry. Yes.
Sorry, yeah, late comment on MOPEX. I read it again quickly before the meeting, and I noticed this sentence that says we can use for MOPEX the same values as were in the MOP field originally, and this is to be taken as a same mode. I'm sorry, Raul, you're coming in quite loud. Can you mute, please? Thank you. So we can reuse the same values in the MOPEX field, and this is to be interpreted that the network is operating under the same mode with, the sentence says, with an augmented semantics or augmented meaning or something. Maybe some optional features are mandatory when this old mode is operated as a new mode in the MOPEX field. So I was wondering if we want to clarify that, and especially with the assignment with IANA, can we assign the old values in the new field to and name them differently or something to explain that it's not quite the same mode as it was before? So just open question, and again, I should put that in writing on the mailing list, but since we're having a little bit of time here, any comments on that?
I have a clarification about that in the draft. If not, I'll that is something that definitely has to be clarified. I guess the question, if I just want to revisit the question. The question is the old MOP values, if they appear in the new fields, new MOPEX fields, how should it be interpreted? And whether there is not, if there is no explicit text in the draft. I thought there is an explicit text in the draft, but I would like to revisit that.
Right, there is text that says it's the same value as before, but because it's in a new field, maybe there are some features that are made mandatory that were optional before. And it even has a link to the capabilities draft, which may be a bit annoying if we want to publish. So two things is what do we really want in this draft, and second, for the future, are we sure we want to just say it's the same but not quite the same, or do we want to properly assign the old values in the new table with another name or something that allows us to be very explicit as to what the differences are between old and new of the same value? That's my question.
That's a very valid question. I thought maybe the the text there is not very clear enough. I'll take that as an action item to check and review what the text is in the context currently and see if we can improvise it. Definitely the reference to capabilities have to be revisited for sure. I think it might be a stray reference because if you remember, there was a single draft before for both the action items, OPEX and capabilities, and then we later split it out, and maybe some of these stray references might have been left out there. If it is, that also has to be corrected because capabilities is certainly a different work item.
Okay.
Thank you. Thank you.
Sure. That's all for me on this one.
Okay, thank you very much. We'll proceed. Additional comment or questions? Okay. So for enrollment priority, we have these open issues in GitHub. I don't know, Michael, if these issues are still, or should we close them? Are still on, valid, or should we close them? If you want to take a look, there are some questions that some were answered and some not. Yes.
Okay, I'll have to go through them. I think they're probably all answered, but I'll have to go through them and be sure.
Okay.
I just
know
checked
that-
before the meeting, and
Yeah.
probably half of it, or a bit more than half, are answered.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Incidentally, I asked some question about, by the way, this option doesn't have a name in the draft. It just says this option. And I only after sending the mail out to everybody, I discovered this was actually ticket number 4. So nothing new. And this one is not answered yet. As you
Okay.
mentioned in the ticket, it's not just about the enrollment priority, because it also has the DUDAC size parameter. So maybe we want a more general name, or maybe we stick with priority and we still have the DAG size added to it without mentioning. I don't know, but this one's open. And also I wrote an email just before the meeting with 2 questions, and one is about the explicit reset of the trickle timer. When I look at the ticket, there was a discussion at least a year back about what we currently have, which is a T flag in the option that resets a trickle timer. And Pascal at the time was saying there are flags in the DIO base object, and we could allocate one flag there to say reset the trickle timer. So if we go that way, then we don't need the T bit in the DIO option. So was that resolved somehow, this discussion? It seems we have 2 possibilities now.
As far as, if I can say anything, as far as I remember from the draft, so issues 12 and 13 are already addressed in the draft.
Right. You're right.
The rest. Okay.
You're right. That's exactly what I was mentioning. Issue 12 is answered by having a T flag within the option. But there was a prior discussion that maybe we did not need that T bit in the option. And maybe a better way of doing that would be to allocate a bit in the DIO base object to reset the trickle timer for use by any options, not just this one. And so I don't know that we came to a conclusion regarding this discussion.
Yeah.
Pascal, does that ring a bell? You were part of that discussion at least a year ago.
I think I remember this discussion, but
yeah, same thing. It rings a bell, but it's a long time. But yeah, I mean, what you said rings a bell. You must have said that.
Okay, let's revive that discussion on the mailing list. So we can all agree.
Thread and links to the crowd discussions.
Okay, I'll do that. I take the action.
Great, thank you very much. As well, I understand that
And-
Conrad did a pull request to this enrollment priority. It's right, Conrad? Yes.
Yes,
I
I think the pull request was already merged. Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
And in the Mailer Center today, I had another technical comment. Since I'm also partly involved in compressing all these fields, all these IPv6 packets, I was wondering whether it's a good idea to have 12 bits for the DUDAC size mantissa. We have an exponent of base 2 exponent on 4 bits, and we have 12 bits mantissa. And the recent versions of the draft explained that anyway, the DUDAC size information is very approximate because it's counting DAO prefixes or addresses when we don't quite know how many nodes hide behind those prefixes, and we don't know what sort of traffic each of those nodes send out anyway, and so the DUDAC size information should be taken with a grain of salt. And so thinking about that, I asked myself, do we need 12 bits of resolution? This seems kind of overkill. And then if we try to compress that field, we'll see entropy in that field, and things like SHIC or others will have a hard time compressing that field because they vary all the time. It seems to me 4 bits would be enough. That would be, for the mantissa, that is about 10% accuracy. And given the explanations that I just gave previously, that seems pretty good. Comments on that? And we would save a full byte in the option.
You reduce it from 2 bytes to 1 byte. I don't have any problem with that. As you say, it's an approximate number. Pascal, I mean, this was originally proposed by Weeman. So I don't know if I'd love to have his opinion on that scenario. So
anyway, I sent the mail.
Okay.
Let's carry on the mailing list, but I
So
just
one
wanted to take the opportunity.
final concern is we wind up with an option with an odd number of bytes. I don't think that's fundamentally a problem. We haven't promised to be aligned at 16-bit boundaries for that anyway. So that's okay, I guess.
Okay, great, thank you. So for next steps, well, we will update the next versions and then follow up once that the issues of GitHub have resolved. We can proceed with the working group labs call and at the same time the routing and security directory reviews. And then, well, with the Shepherd, and then based on the working group last call results, we submit to the ISG. Some additional comment or questions for these next steps? Okay, thank you. So next topic will be the upcoming role meetings. So we think that will be nice to meet at the next IETF. And what do you think? Do you agree?
I think yes.
Okay, great.
It's in Europe, so it's an opportunity for quite a few of the usual suspects to meet in person, I would say.
Mm-hmm.
Me, I would very much want to come, but I'm not sure. I have some medical things which I haven't booked yet, so I need to see. But yeah, it would be nice.
Okay, thank you, Aris. Additional comments? Okay. Yes, Conrad?
Yes, We'll also try to come, but I have a lot of teaching actually, so we'll have to check whether I will be able to miss those. But if yes, then I can come to Prague. Sure.
Out of curiosity, when do you need to declare whether we will have a meeting or not to get the room?
Yes.
The deadline is in 2 days. 22 is the deadline.
Oh, it's
So
tomorrow.
Yeah.
Okay, so me, I won't have information until tomorrow if I will be able to come. Sorry.
Yeah. Well, we'll make it.
I will ask.
We'll make our best guess. Oops.
But you always can participate remotely as well, so it's not. It's,
Just to guys, I will not be physically in Prague or in Brisbane, but if the meeting happens, sure, I will join. Through Meetica.
Likewise.
Great, thank you.
Is there a chance that you ping Sue to see if she has seen my response? It was 2 weeks ago. So, well, not 2 weeks, 1 week ago, a bit more than 1 week ago. But I didn't see her confirm that she has seen my email, so just to make sure that she's aware. Yeah? No?
Yeah, we heard you. Yeah, I'm writing a note somewhere to do that.
I think it's the routing directorate, right? It was so it's the first pass because we were writing area before we can send anything to IETF Glasgow. I guess that's where we are right now. And then the review was quite interesting and deep, and so that was great. Now she had some issues at the very beginning of the document, and I don't necessarily agree with what she said. So if you could look, the main issues why she said not ready, I believe it should be discussed, because I don't necessarily agree, but some other people might agree. So I gave my response, and would like to see other people chime in, and maybe Michael as co-author, if you could look at my response at Sue's issue and my response, whether I'm correct or not.
Okay, point taken. I'm taking note in the introduction actually, because that's when we talked about the projection.
Yes.
And that's where I commented out that I had published version 33 as a response to the review by Sue.
Thank you for that, for correcting.
Yeah, I think you mentioned that the discussions should be taken about if the draft will be experimental or not. But
yes, there was that. Very true. And many of the drafts that we've done at ROLL were just in that exact same shape as this one. I mean, we are doing new things. The only one we tried for experimental was the P2P, and all that did is that the P2P was never implemented or tried by anybody. So the intention of experimental doesn't really work in our space. So I would say that putting it experimental would just kill it, because nobody, in university, academia, etc., would try to implement it. So it's not a good idea. I mean, if it was so, then even Ripple would have been experimental. So the way we've handled that in the past is that we have left the spec open for, not to be too strict in settings and stuff. That's probably one explanation for the recommended, by the way, in Mr. Huff. I'm not sure. So I have to review Mr. Huff. I'm not an author of that RFC, so I don't know it that well. But it could be that the recommended was just, well, the authors were not too sure. Leave it open. Same thing here. I mean, we have a spec doing something that we've never tried before. So clearly, it has the same status as any RFC that we've done before, meaning we've done everything standard track, and the only time we did not was a huge failure, probably because of that. So if we place this one as experimental, we just kill it.
Mhm.
Well, it was a lot of work. I don't want to see it just killed by a status.
Okay, well taken.
Okay.
Back to the agenda, maybe. So the question was about the interim meetings. Next question about interim meetings. Michael?
That looks
go
good
ahead.
to me. Yeah, that looks good to me. This time was okay. Monthly, maybe every 2 months, maybe enough.
Okay.
And I think that setting a good cadence will actually make us more efficient, because we'll remember what's going on. Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. And yeah, I'd taken the action item to organize that over the summer, and yeah, did not pursue that. So this meeting is kind of late, but with this meeting and the role session at IETF 118, then the next interim would probably be yeah, mid-December or beginning January. That would be probably, and then we can have a 2 or 3 spaced about 2 months, maybe in the spring. That could be for our horizon for the current pieces of work. Anybody strongly objects to Thursdays and 1 p.m. UTC? Hearing none, so we'll just go with that. Thank you.
Okay. And about 1 hour, it's fine.
I think so, yes.
Okay,
Seems
yeah.
to be okay.
Great, thank you. Some comments, additional comments?
So we,
Okay.
yeah, we ran out of, oh yeah, okay, open floor. We have 5 minutes, 8 minutes.
Yes.
So I have one item for open floor. As you know, most of you know probably, I'm currently transitioning away from work to an era where I have I can focus on more personal projects, and I've realized that even though maybe originally I thought I would have more free time for doing IETF stuff, I've realized that I've been quite dragged into many other projects, which are non-work related. And so my intention is to step down as a working group co-chair within the next 6 months, maybe. So sometime between Prague and Brisbane or at Brisbane. I will not be there physically, but at least around that time. And so if anybody has always had the dream of becoming co-chair of ROLL, this is probably a good time for you. I know the audience isn't quite numerous today, so but yeah, actually, those who are present are those mostly involved, most deeply involved in the work at ROLL nowadays. So they're probably the most relevant to become co-chairs of ROLL. So yeah, but you don't have to step up right now, but think about it if anybody is interested. Otherwise, we'll go the usual route for finding another co-chair. That was my item for open floor. Any other item?
Maybe I can pose a question.
Sure.
How much time does this take out of your schedule? Out of curiosity, because
Well,
as a participant, I have no good visibility into the demands of such a responsibility?
To be honest, it's very adjustable, adaptable. It can be as infinite as you want it to be. If you want to do everything right and be on top of things constantly, it can be a significant part of your time. And to be honest, this summer I've kind of disappeared for 2 months. And so, yes, if you sample my amount of work for these 2 months, it was close to zero. But you can't do that forever. You have to come back at some point.
I would say it involves about 2 to 3 hours every other week to catch up on all the emails and make some decisions and talk to your co-chair.
Mm-hmm.
So
Okay,
that's kind of the
thank you.
minimum for a working group.
For keeping things
Okay.
running, yeah. And then if you want to get involved, I mean, and understand exactly what the drafts are about, of course, it means reading the drafts, reading the, you know, the pull requests, the issues, the discussions, and that can be as much as you want.
Okay, cool. Thank you. I don't know if I'm the best person to do it, but since you opened it to everyone, I will think a bit about it, and I guess we'll continue over email.
Sounds good.
Yes, one thing you need to know also is in a working group, you need to decide whether you're mostly a participant with technical contributions, or if you're mostly chair, in which case, yes, you participate to discussions, but you don't find your name on the work, basically, for the most piece, right? You have to choose your camp. So
Yeah, that's right. There is a kind of a conflict of interest between being, you know, shepherd, chair, etc., and being an author. So it's kind of a role play that in a working group you'll be a participant, and in the other working group you'll be the chair, and the, you know, the first group chair will be a participant in the second group. You can see Pascal alternating between roles in the various groups.
yes, you and I, we have that story, Dominique. And by the way, to go with you, I mean, I will leave Cisco probably between now and the end of the year. That's the plan. So I'm going to be in the same situation as you are, and I don't know exactly what I'll do in the future, but very similar.
I see.
Okay.
Well, thank you very much for the inside info.
Thank you very much to everyone. Dominique, we will greatly miss you. You are doing a great job as chair, and you are a great chair. So, but yeah, I'm very happy to work with any of you, and thank you very much for volunteer for this role. If when you take your decision, we can have a meeting to explain you. We probably have bi-weekly meetings with the chairs to speak about the status of the working group, but we will send as well maybe to you some links so you can read. In the IETF, there are a lot of information for chairs and what is the scope of the role and so on. So you can decide, and I will be very happy to work with any of you. And Dominica, really say million thanks for your standing work. And still, I'm happy that we still have a lot of months to work together. So yeah.
Exactly. I was going to say.
Yes, of course.
Don't bury me
No,
too quickly. I'm
no,
still
no,
here.
no, never. No, but just want to say once again, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay,
Okay.
so yeah. Additional comment or questions? Okay. So thank you everyone for your participation, and I hope to meet you in the next ITF.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Yay.
And
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
And Dominique, if you're still there, big thanks for all the work you've been doing.
Thank you, Pascal. Same to you. You've
It
been.
was huge. I mean, it was really great time. So thank you.
I
Good luck
I
for
hope
the next.
I hope we have an opportunity to have a beer sometime. I have a little story to tell you of our
Well,
nearly
you know my personal
first.
email, right? You know, I will be using it for
Hey,
IETF anyway, but pascal.tuber@gmail, you know it, right?
actually, Pascal, I'll be in Nice next week from Monday to
Oh,
Wednesday. Do you have time for a drink?
Probably. Now, are you in Nice or Sophia Antipolis?
Well, between Biot and Villefranche. Villefranche
Well,
during the
when
day and Biot at night.
well, so not early at night. You'll be very close, so that would be nice. I mean, I would love it.
Okay, keep in touch.
I'm close to my house is in Roquefort-les-Pas.
Okay.
Okay, you take care.
Let's meet. Okay, bye bye.
Okay. Bye bye, you all.
Bye bye.